Come on in. Good morning. Am I on? There we go. Come on in. Have a seat. We're going to get started. Good morning. Welcome to Seeds. We have no announcements to start the morning, but we want to make sure you feel welcome here. And I don't know if you noticed, did anybody notice anything about the slide that's up there? Besides, there's a bunch of things, but notice anything that's a little different? It's a new logo, just to give you a hint. It's a new logo. So thanks to Kayla Giesbrecht, who was working on that. So we're starting with a new look here. But this also represents our welcome statement that makes clear that we want everyone to feel welcome, and we want to celebrate everybody's journey, and we want to be with you as a community together. And at the same time, we recognize that we are standing and we are meeting on Treaty 1 land and the responsibilities that come with that. So I invite you to stand, and we're going to pray, and we're going to lead in some music. This morning is a bit of a different morning. We're doing a congregational meeting as part of our service, so let's pray. Jesus, we thank you for this space as we celebrate the fact that you have risen and that you are alive and that you are active. You are leading us, you are guiding us, and you're also energizing us and nourishing us on this journey. We thank you for that. We also ask that you would be with us to guide us and give us discernment as we work through this transition period of time at Seeds. We ask that you are with us and that you give us a vision for the future. We do this all in the name of Jesus, and we're about to worship you. Amen.
Good morning. Yeah, I dare you to clap your hands during the song when told.
We bet you can't clap.
Yeah,
I don't think you can do it.
Sing a song to the Lord, go on and lift your voice. Sing a song to the Lord and make a joyful noise. Sing a song to the Lord, go on and lift your voice. La 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 la, and make a joyful noise. La 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 la. Let justice roll like a river, like a river, let it roll. Let justice roll like a river, like a river, let it roll. Let justice roll like a river, like a river, let it roll. Let justice roll like a river, like a river, let it roll. Let it roll. Let it roll. You can have a seat.
Can you the drums for a minute for me? Yeah. All right, that's our drum this morning. Kids can come up. Come on and join me, guys. Hi. It's nice to see you. So I have just a really short story today because we've got a lot of things going on. So I don't have the weirdo meter that we've had the last couple of weeks. But we've been talking about the stories of Jesus, right? And Jesus, after he died and he rose from the dead, then he started meeting with lots of people. And the story that I want to share to you today is called, well, in this Bible, it's called Life Together. What is it that we're at today? You know what it's called, what we're doing here today? What is this? Not like when you came here this morning, what did you come to? Yeah, church. So this thing called church, did you know that it's been around for like a couple of thousand of years? Do you know how long 1,000 years is? It's a really, 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 like if you think your grandma and grandpa are old, it's like so much older than your grandma and grandpa. And after Jesus was raised from the dead, that was the first church. So that's when the church started. So I'm going to read you this little story. It says that daily the people spent time together after Jesus was alive. And they were listening and teaching and singing, and they were eating meals together in their homes. They remembered Jesus by breaking bread and sharing wine, just as Jesus had done with his disciples. And then it says that they were one in heart and soul, and they shared everything. They shared everything. When somebody was in need, the believers, they sold what they had. So if Selah needed something and Ada had something, she would maybe sell some of what she had so that Selah could have something. And then if Carter needed something, then August would give up something he had so that Carter would have something, right? Yeah, they started to share things.
And if Carter likes some of my toys, Carter can borrow it.
Yeah, Carter could borrow it. And this is something cool. It said that nobody said, "This is mine." Do you ever say, "This is mine"? Yes. Do you ever? Yeah. I say that too. This is mine. But did you know that one of the things they learned about Jesus was that Jesus had this effect on them that they stopped saying that. They stopped saying, "This is mine, this is mine. No, this is mine." Instead, they shared everything. Even their houses. Even their land. That's Pretty cool. And then it says, every day, more and more people joined them. So there was something exciting and really awesome about people being together and sharing everything. So I want you to think, just like Augie, what you said, if Carter needed something, you would let him borrow it. I want you to think maybe about some of your friends, or maybe it's you, when you need something. How can you think about sharing what you have? A lot of people in our world don't have enough food, water, money. And part of our job is thinking about what can we do about that?
If you don't want to share, if someone says you have to share, you have to share, and if something is precious, you can keep it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to think about like, oh, what are we willing to share this? And sometimes it's hard. Yeah. Okay, you guys can go upstairs, and thanks for coming.
Please join me this morning for the prayers of the people. With these prayers, we ask for God's healing upon the earth and all people. This morning, Lord, we look to you for the strength we need just to make it through. Have mercy. This morning, we look around and take in the context within which we are seeking to live out the Jesus life, to make Jesus real. In recent weeks, we have reflected on how broken the world was at the time of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, and how Jesus pierced that darkness with a ray of light. As we scan over the contours of 2 millennia since then, we acknowledge that there is still darkness in so many places around the world, and even in our immediate environments. Sadness and suffering dwell among the peoples of the world. Sometimes we feel that evil has the upper hand, that in spite of much valiant effort, hope for better times is fading. At the same time, this twisted landscape also lights up, here and there, far and near, when we see things through the lens of resurrection hope. On the world stage, in our community, and in our individual lives, we detect resurrection dynamics budding forth like new growth in spring gardens. We reach for that light of hope, hold it tight, and let it warm our hearts. And so we ask this morning, Lord, that you bring healing upon the earth and all its people. All people who turn their eyes toward you, and even those who don't. The world needs strength for another day, so please have mercy. We hope you don't mind, Lord, that our focus this morning is less on the world out there and more on us as a community of your followers here at Seeds Church. We thank you for your faithfulness as our story has unfolded for more than a quarter century. We are mindful of the pioneers of Seeds of Life, thankful for all of the love, devotion, commitment, prayers, sweat, and tears that help bring Seeds to life. We are also aware of the many people who have been drawn closer to you by connecting with Seeds, those who came and stayed, and those who came and went. Thank you for the creative leadership that has been given by Ted and Dar and many others, and for the healing and hope that has flowed out from this place. Even while many of us are grieving the imminent loss of Ted and Dar's leadership among us, we are taking the first steps to find our way forward as a faith community. And even while each of us is experiencing this existential moment in unique ways, we are committed to keep walking by faith, even when sight evades us. We have never been here before. We think you know about such sentiments. The challenges of life often confront us in unexpected and perplexing ways, and we don't get to rinse and repeat. We are asked to keep walking for real, knowing that you are holding our collective hand and our heart. We confess that we don't really know where this road will take us, nor how we will get from here to there, but at the end of the day, we trust that we will be able to look back and see how you walked with us on this journey. In the evening, Lord, we'll look back and say, it was your strength that we made our way. Have mercy. Amen.
stand with me, please, for song. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night, waking or sleeping, thy presence my life. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I ever with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Lord of my love, thy child may I be. Thou in me dwelling, and I one with thee. Riches I heed not, nor vain empty praise. Now mine inheritance, now and always. Thou art only first in my heart, ruler of heaven, my treasure thou art. True light of heaven, when victory's won, may I reach heaven, joy so bright, heaven's sun. Heart of my heart, whatever befall, still be my vision, O ruler of all. Still be my vision, O ruler of all. Can I have a seat?
Good morning, everybody. In 2002, Leanna and I were on a transition journey ourselves. Basically, all I knew of Altona at the time was, and I'm going back, and this will date me, Ollie Penner used to have this show called Children's Party, and you would get your mom or your dad would send your birthday announcement to the radio on CFAM, and you'd listen madly for 3 minutes for your birthday announcement, and then there would be something like this: happy birthday, Jonathan, your 8th birthday, go look for your present in the dryer. Like there would always be this secret place for the gift. Does anybody remember that? Thank you. So that's what I knew about Altona. The second thing that I knew about Altona was there's a farm. You know the Plum Coulee turnoff when you're going west to Winkler? There's a farm about, Ken, 2 miles south?
No, off the 201.
Yeah.
It's like half a mile or less than a mile.
Yeah, okay. So Ken's a Bergman. I'm related to the Bergmans. That's the other thing that I knew about Altona was the Bergman connection, because my great Tonta Zara, that's how we always called her, Aunt Sarah, lived on a farm, lived on that farmyard, right, Ken?
Yeah.
Those are the two things I knew about Altona. So when Leanna and I moved here in 2003, and ended up at Seeds in 2004 when it was still meeting at the W.C. Miller Gymnasium, where I would spend up the bulk of my career here. We had no idea that, I had no idea I'd be standing here being part of a transition journey. And what I can say is I'm thankful that I'm here, actually. I'm thankful that I ended up at Seeds. And although the survey didn't actually give us a gratitude metric, what we picked up on here actually was a sense of gratitude. Like nobody said I'm so thankful for Seeds, but you said it in a whole bunch of other ways. So that's how I wanted to just sort of situate us in the process. There's not very often that we spend a Sunday morning talking about, you know, what you told us, but that's what we're going to do. And before we get into the survey, where are we at, Ted? Wow. Where are we at, Ted? Okay, we want to ground ourselves in what we've always said is our playground, and I'm going to turn it over to Ted and Dar for that.
So I've been thinking a fair bit post-Easter, thinking about the church, because post-Easter there's a lot of conversation about the first church. And I read the story this morning with the kids about the believers being of one heart and one mind, and just kind of been like actually waking up sometimes in the night, sometimes early in the morning, thinking about this. This idea of one heart and one mind. And this morning I woke up thinking a little bit about my week, and that was, I spent a fair bit of time this week participating and learning about grief in the Muslim community. Because I shared a week ago, I think, about Omar, and he passed away, I think that Sunday night or maybe Monday morning. Anyway, Omar passed away, and there's been, over the course of this week, a very diverse community of people that have come together to, because of this. And that line of one heart and mind kind of was brought to mind for me. So there were Muslims from many different countries, and we started to see too, oh, well, this country practices Islam in this way, and this country, well, it's a little bit different, and then there was the Canadian community as well, and so it was just like, but we're all here of one heart and mind for this family. That's kind of what drew us together. So I think I want to just frame the conversation today that our playground, which is the way that we always talk about our values and our anchors at Seeds, our playground is a way for us to envision a community of one heart and one mind. It's not about conformity. It's not all about agreeing on everything. It is to envision not sameness, but a structure that allows us to play, a structure that allows us to play with Jesus at the center of that play. And there are so many diverse relationships that we have and places we find ourselves in terms of our relationship with Jesus, how the reality of Jesus is encountered in our lives, and what it means for us to be open, and what it means for us to be connected, and what it means for us to be responsive. But we come sort of with a one heart and mind that this is the playground, and we all have one amazing, divine, sacred life, and we're playing with what it looks like to engage with Jesus in this life. So the structure of the playground means that when we make decisions, when groups of people gather together, when there's conflict, when there's a potluck breakfast, when somebody is sick, et cetera, when all of these things happen, the structure of the playground asks us, how do we move with purpose? How do we foster relationships? How do we take time to listen? How are we connected? And I think, and in those things, is it possible? Yes, it is, that Jesus is actually real among us as we live this out, as we play on this playground. So the information around the survey, our conversations around this unique time of life in the Seeds community, it is perhaps a new part of the playground that we're playing with. How will our values challenge us to be open, connected, and responsive? So the values are open, connected, responsive, we ask. How will the anchors is about behavior. It's about how will we foster relationships? How will we move with purpose? How will we listen? This is what grounds us in the conversation. What lays at the ground of all of that is a quest, a hope, a joy, a desire for Jesus to be real, and for us to make Jesus real in our life. So, what a joy it is to do this together. Jonathan?
Next slide. I should just be very clear. I'm here, and I'm taking on a formal leadership role here, but these things always happen with a team of people. This is not an individual enterprise. So I got to give a shout out to Kevin and Nick and Ashley as part of the transition team, and then of course the survey data is all you. When I was talking a little bit about it with Nick this morning, so we give a survey and we get 3 responses, let's say. That's 3 important individual perspectives, but it doesn't paint a picture. When you get 73 responses, you get 73 individual pieces of an overall portrait, and it's the overall portrait that matters. It's not that individual responses don't matter, they do. But collectively it matters because it creates that theme those themes that we're going to talk about. So I wanted to just sort of highlight that right away. Nick and Kevin, maybe just pass out those paper copies in case people want to ground themselves as we go through some slides. There's some paper copies of the slides, and that was online too, but you might want to just have that as a reference point. Just put your hand up, and then Kevin and Nick will just pass them out as needed. So the purpose this morning I should just stay in front of the, yeah. The purpose this morning is not to plan. So I want to be really clear about this is not a planning meeting. The planning will come. What this meeting is about is for you to hear back what you shared as part of the survey. This is your voice back to you. This is you hearing what you said to the transition team. Now I want to say a couple other things. The themes that you see reflected on the slides that will come up and on the paper, the process that we went through to get to those themes it's a very human process. And we're not experts, none of us are experts in survey making or taking or any of that sort of thing. So I'll very humbly just say, you're seeing the work of a group of amateurs, but we're committed to the process, and we all have some experience in that work. So we believe that there's some integrity to what was done. So there were 3 open-ended questions, and as a group, as a transition team, we cross-referenced the themes on each of those 3 questions so that there was at least 2 sets of eyes on those themes. And then Nick did the writing. He kind of collated it all after we we distilled the ideas. So I wanted you to understand the process by how we arrived at the themes. What was really clear to us was there were themes. You can't mistake the themes. We're not making this stuff up. It's what your voice collectively, and I want to emphasize, collectively 73 people gave us this information that led us to these themes. So we're not doing any planning today. It's you getting a chance to see the survey data. Realistically, we wanted to have some sort of a framework for you to engage in the survey, and we will do that at the end. We're going to make as they say, to use a football analogy, we're going to make an audible. We're going to call an audible at the line. We're only going to do this once. It's just we're not set up well for group sharing today. But we're going to try and orchestrate that after we've gone through all the survey data. Make sense? Okay. So, next slide. So, the first, just trying to think if there's anything else I needed to say in the moment here. I will say this. There may be some questions that arise as we go through the survey, because the survey won't answer all the questions that you may have, and in fact, it may actually raise up some questions that we definitely want to engage, but we won't do that this morning. But we want to make sure you capture those thoughts and you write them down so that we can take them back and engage in that next step of planning. So there's a paper that you'll have the opportunity to jot down those thoughts, and then you can give them to any one of us on the transition team or Ted and Dar, and then we'll collect them and we'll find a way to get them back to you. Does that make sense? Okay. Question number 1. These were open-ended questions. We were very deliberate in trying to create questions that didn't bias a certain response. We didn't want to predetermine the response. We wanted the response to truly be your response. Question number 1. I am part of Seeds because, or what I value most about Seeds is, fill in the blank. Tell us your thoughts. So that's what you did. So there's a couple of key things. On the first slide, one of the key things is just the fact that Seeds is kind of goes with the flow. There's a sense of being willing to embrace the non-traditional approach or approaches. We're talking there about culture, really, and someone that's spent my lifetime working within systems, I can tell you, if you don't have a good culture, the system's going to struggle. And those of you that are in positions in workplaces, you know that when you're in a positive culture, it's a great place to be, and if you're not so much. So one of the things that came through in the survey, culture matters, and Seeds has got a positive culture. Next slide. Part of that culture is around the nature of being inclusive. We live in complicated times. There's lots of social issues that divide people. One of the things that Seeds has sought to do is to wrestle with those issues and land on the side of love, if I can be, just sort of summarize it that succinctly. So that's something that came through really clearly in the feedback from you. Inclusive came up 18 times. That word specifically was used 18 times. And then the notion of connection was particularly important. And when I made the comment earlier, like reflecting on my time, Leanna, and our time at Seeds, connection has got to be at the core of that. The next slide. So beautifully written 1 to 2 sentence summary. I'm just going to read it because I think it's just that beautifully written. People are a part of Seeds because they feel safe and included, which allows them the space to explore hard questions, grow spiritually, and act accordingly in the community. They value that Seeds does things differently with the invitation and challenge to move faith to action. I think Richard Rohr says it beautifully when he says, on one level, believe what you believe, great, but the litmus test of your belief is your action. Like if you believe and it's just a static belief, really, so what? And Seeds does a great job of inviting us to be action-oriented, make faith something we do, rather than just something that sits on a theology and a theological notion. So that's question number 1. Nick.
You don't just get to have to listen to Jonathan the whole time. As much as you might want to. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add in terms of some of the process stuff that we've done. Jonathan did a good job summarizing that. But we wanted to at least give some different voice to the summaries of these longer questions. So the next question, oh, we're skipping that. This is our audible. There we go. I believe that seeds exists because. Now, again, there was a lot of, I would say, pretty clear agreement with what people were thinking about and why that they believe seeds exists. And it focuses on making Jesus real. Now, this was interesting because we were wondering how much this would come up and how much people would internalize our mission, which was really cool. And the quote, "make Jesus real," shows up a number of times. And it shows up in the non-quote version of it, in the description of it, almost throughout. It was a really clear, sort of resounding answer from you as the respondents, which was really cool. It's a safe space to be different and inclusive, and it offers an alternative and progressive voice. This isn't on this slide.
Sorry.
Oh, there.
There you are.
Look at that. And it offers a progressive voice that's valuable and attractive to a wide range of people. This is what you guys have reflected back to us in this piece. Making Jesus real, the quote of making Jesus real, by responding to the community, which we are actually going to touch on a little bit in the next piece, the next question as well. But and also touches on what Jonathan mentions about right living, right over that. The other sort of main summary piece from this question that I really wanted to highlight is it's a place for us to commune, connect with others, and learn about our faith and move on our individual and collective spiritual walks. So there was a real sense of people feeling like this was a place for them to gather and move. This is a place for them, Seeds exists for them to come here, to learn, to take something, and to move out. Which was really, I think, again, a really clear picture from you as the people that filled this out. And then in our 1 to 2 sentence summary around this question, I believe seeds exists because, or we believe seeds exists because it offers an inclusive, progressive, and innovative place that strives to answer the question, what does it look like to make Jesus real? People believe that strong leadership and openness to change have been essential in creating this environment. So there's a lot here that resonates with the first question, I would say, especially when it comes to thinking about that inness and that outness, that moving with purpose. It's like it's right there in our playground. So you guys are listening. I think that's a good place for us to stop on question number 2. But the only thing that I would reflect back again is that this felt very connected and very community centered, which I felt was very powerful as I was going through these responses over and over and over and over again. So that was cool. Okay, Kevin.
Mic is hot. Question number 3. What I hope for Seeds in January 2025 and beyond is nobody said that Seeds dies in a fiery crash, which we appreciate. I think it's been said that there is so much affirmation for what's been going on, and it has really. It's just so clear that people have appreciated what's been happening at Seeds, and the answer to this question is that we would like to see more of the same. Like, let's keep doing what we're doing. But it also, I think people stated that we also need to be evolving and learning and adapting and rolling. And something, too, that's come from our conversations around this recently is that even though things we hope will look the same in many ways, things will also look different, particularly as we move into new leadership. It's not going to be exactly like it's been. And I think Jonathan will talk a little bit more of some of our outside consultation that we've had. This is historically a problem for churches that move from one leadership to another, is that they don't do it like we always used to do it, and I hate that and whatever, and then there's problems. So we're not going to do that because we aren't that way. So way to go. Yeah, so I mean, you can see all the points up there. I will just read the summary sentence. By the way, these summary sentences were written by Nick. He's so skilled at so many things. People hope that Seeds can navigate forward through a tricky transition period while maintaining the current identity that sets it apart and draws people in. People hope for a continued focus on right living over right believing and creative approaches to the current challenges facing the congregation. Jonathan.
No, just put the question, the slide with the discussion question. So, in a different scenario where we could organize the space to facilitate group discussions, we'd be pausing after each of these to have a little bit of a turn and talk. But we're going to do it at the end. So these are the questions that I want you to sort of have percolating as we go over the next several slides. First of all, when you read or now you hear the response summary, what do you notice? And then what do you wonder? The third question is that question that will help to sort of further clarify the survey results, and that is, what additional questions could be asked? What does the survey not tell us that you think you would like to know? And so that we want you to write your responses to that question in particular so that we can collect that information. So in addition to the 3 open-ended questions, we had, I think, 10 Likert scale questions. We worked, if I said this before, and this is my attempt at being funny, so please forgive me. Like, we wanted to get to the number 12, because there's 12 disciples and 12 tribes of Israel, there's something really special about that number. We ended up with 13, which is terrible. It's unlucky. But that's what we got. So we rode the wave. We said, let's do it. So here we go. The first response. What I want you to pay attention to is it's a scaled response. It didn't invite you to, at this point now, describe why you gave it a 1, a 2, or a 3, or a 4. Can you imagine us trying to sort through all that anecdotal data? Think of all the work Nick would have had to do. It would have been ridiculous. But what I want you to notice as we move through the slides is I want you to notice where the bar graphs tilt. If it tilts to 1, it invites us to think about things differently than if it tilts to a 4, right? And again, what's really significant here is the way that the numbers group themselves. Remember, it's 1 at a time times 73. So there's 73 responses, 1 at a time, that gets captured in this bar graph. So the first question is that me? I don't think so. I can't even read the first question. What is it? Oh yeah. The informal, relaxed culture and atmosphere of Seeds is important to me. And I just want you to look at the bar graphs. I'm not going to make any comments. I just want you to look at where the numbers tilt. Okay? Slide the next one, Ted. Number 2. Okay. It is important for me that Seeds maintains its mission to make Jesus real. Okay, just look at the numbers. Where do they tilt? What does that tell you? Or you can ask, so is there another question that we need to ask based on this response survey data? Okay. Next one. Connecting with people is an important part of why I come to Seeds or why I am part of the Seeds community. Again, do Just look at where the numbers tilt, where the bar graphs land up. What you could do as a bit of a mental exercise, those of you that are good with math, just if you're interested in 3s and 4s versus 1s and 2s, you just do the math and tally up the total of the 3s and 4s, compare that with the 1s and 2s, and then that even rounds out the picture a little bit more fully. Number 4. It is important for me and my family to join the Seeds community for the Sunday morning service. I think one of the reasons why we asked this question is, and this is not a uniquely Seeds challenge, but post-pandemic, church attendance is dropping, and we're seeing that here as well. And so we're wondering, does that just in some way suggest to us the energy for Seeds is also sort of, like Kevin said, so like maybe it's just time for it to die. Like we're not coming, so it doesn't matter. This tells us a bit of a different story. So it's curious. Number 5. Participating in a cell group is important for me as an important part of my connection to Seeds. And this would be a very, very individual response. Again, you can just look at how the survey numbers tally up. Number 6, the music aspect of the service is an important part of my connection to Seeds. Tells you something. Number 7, maintaining spiritual rituals such as communion and prayers of the people is important to me. There too, you can see how the numbers fall out, and you get a bit of a different picture when you look at the overall numbers there. Number 8, the teaching part of Sunday services is important to me. This is a pastor's worst nightmare. I'm a preacher's kid, so I'll tell you, my dad would have paid attention to this. Number 9, I am hopeful, optimistic, confident that Seeds will move through this transition period successfully. I'll let the survey, the bar responses, sort of speak for themselves. I mean, one of the questions we could really ask here as a follow-up question, and maybe it's already answered in question number 3, would be, so in your opinion, what does success look like? That's a follow-up question that we could ask. Question number 3 gives us a bit of that sense, but maybe we need to ask it a little more pointedly. Are we on number 10 now? Yes. Okay, number 10. I am committed to helping Seeds during this time of revisioning, reorganizing, and possible restructuring in tangible ways. Please be realistic. I think we reflected on this question in particular, and we wondered if it was a bit vague, whether we were asking for your help like just for the next 8 months of the transition time, or if we're asking for your participation with the life of Seeds like beyond this transition period. I think maybe both, but I think initially, from the transition team perspective, we were particularly curious to, is there some energy for beyond the people that are involved in the leadership team and the transition team to be part of the transitioning process?
Also important to note that everybody who answered 3 and 4 didn't put their name, so thanks a lot.
Oh, I love it, Kevin. Yeah, it's good. Well, just to that point, 44 of 73 people did put their name, so we can track you down. Okay, that's the survey data. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to make this work as best we can, knowing this is not a perfect environment to have a group debrief, but we're going to make an attempt here. So, can you in your space where you're seated, just orient yourself, form an informal circle, and if you need to move to a table group, I'm going to give you 5 minutes, but I think it's important to take 5 minutes, just have a quick discussion around the 3 things that were posed at the beginning. Number 1, what do you notice when you look at the overall survey responses? Number 2, what do you wonder? And then if there are some questions that have arisen, please write those down and then share that back with us. So we're going to make this work as best we can. We're going to push you out of your comfort zones a little bit, rearrange your chairs, form an informal circle. And please allow everybody just a 1 minute sound bite, 2 minute sound bite. We're not unpacking the whole thing. It's informal. 5 minutes. And then we're going to call you back together and we're going to invite just 3 or 4 responses. Okay, go.
I think it's really interesting that the focus is on making Jesus real, and then when we like to teach to me, it would be okay, we're making Jesus real. Let's do something like tangible, physical. Let's do something about it. Like you can go with a teach, but it's interesting to me that it was like, no, I love teach. Like sort of like, well, I want to let's community clean. Let's do some stuff as a community. Do it as a no. That was my question. Like, like progression forward as a church. Does that mean that services also include, or as a community, do we do a little bit more of that? I know that like with the community exchange, there is a lot of that, but not necessarily as a church. And does it, if we're making Jesus real, shouldn't we be like doing something?
I think that really came from like anecdotes. That's what Nick said. That's what it was taking gathering, and then so that it could go out into life.
But should we kind of try and connect them so it is both like we come here, we learn, but then as a community too, there's a little bit more like, I don't know. I feel like there's, to me, maybe I'm just reading it wrong. There's a disconnect there, but that might just be my understanding.
Yeah, I was starting to tag on to that. I was thinking like for my brain, the community and our language because I'm part of the community. And because of the teaching, really it's all linked.
It's the sort of thing that you do this the same thing like ACAD. Now I understand ACAD is entirely separate, but if I look, almost everyone there is like a member of a different church, one of the three churches. Now, are people drawn to that community because their mindset's already in a way and they're wanting to see it happen as well? It's the same sort of thing where I understand that ACAD is definitely a secular organization, but you cannot deny that people seem to be drawn to it in this disproportionate way that you see from some of the other things. So it's really important. But it'd be hard to use that in its own
I think for me, it's more like I want to be a part of the community. When I speak to my in-laws who want to be involved in the community exchange, they're not thinking of it as a seeds thing, which is perfect. That's not what we want it to be. But then, like, I don't know how to word it properly. We're still trying to integrate ourselves into the community. So I want more things where I'm can be and joining as seeds of community that are also like going toward and being together, doing actual change. Even though we are, I don't know.
Right, so I think when you say the community, you're talking about the state community.
Well, we don't know, of course.
So otherwise, you're making this real through the
You've got about a minute and a half left. Just keep the flow of the conversation. Make sure everybody has a voice.
Yeah, a little bit more things that are sometimes just church, so that us as a community, church community, are connected. Because we're so focused on the out, which is great. We also need to have more within. And sometimes I feel like as people who are still finding our feet in the church community, there aren't a lot of opportunities for us to gather and meet beyond church, which is great, but it's also nice to connect inside it. Since we started, we joined during COVID, so then it's like we're still finding our feet. So all the steps got long.
I'm noticing a disconnect between our optimism for the future and our willingness to engage with the future.
I wonder if there was probably more specifics, because I think a lot of people, they're worried to promise too much
Yeah.
So they don't want to go like, sure, I can do it, teach, involved, I can like chat. Whereas if it's something like, I'm willing to show up, I'm willing to, donate money, I'm willing to help, say about like a specific like they might be willing to do that, but then they're worried that if they promise to do that. Like probably if we had different bullet points saying, giving you can do that, we see.
1 more minute, folks, 1 more minute.
I think you kind of mentioned that, right? Like the question might have been too vague. It needed to be maybe a couple different questions.
Plus, most of them were, there was not a neutral answer. You were chose to choose one side. So most, I think the biggest hump was the most common response was like a slight disagreement. So it wasn't like, it was just, and I think a lot of them would have chosen, if there was a middle, would have chosen like, just like maybe go back to connection. Some people clearly do. I'm not used to this. Yeah. Some, are you part of this?
No, yeah, I'm not either, and I,
You're probably obviously going to fit in this.
Well, but we would like to.
yeah, I would like to.
Like some of it too is like there hasn't really been an opportunity to join, or like they're so the cell groups are so ingrained and like people have such strong like there's not really room to like enter into an established one because we don't have the energy with babies to like start. We want to like join an established one and just kind of like hop in.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of time where I've written down some of the people that have interested beyond that. I haven't I've been invited to learn.
Yeah, like there's been like informal ones before, like informal celebrities in here, but never. I don't think there's ever been like a. The meeting one time there was like, oh, it's very interesting, you can join, but I was like about to get bored. I was like, no, now is not. Now is not the time I can join.
All right, everybody.
But I want to join this.
Check. Yes, there it's on. Okay, hello everybody. We're going to gather ourselves back, which I know is really fun for us as seeds. We're really good at returning from conversation. James is smiling. He thinks that's good. All right. We're going to invite a few responses from our groups as a whole. So as you wrap up your conversations and you think about what's the most important thing to talk about, before... Hey? Yeah, can I walk around? Okay. I'm going to wander around as this goes, but before we invite your responses, there was a question already about demographic information, and we dug through our emails and found some of the demographic breakdown. Obviously, we only have demographic information for people who shared their name, so that's interesting a little bit. So we have 44 people who shared their name out of 73. And our demographic breakdown is as follows. So again, this is only 44 of the people. In the 20 to 30 range, there's only 2 people that shared their name. In the 30 to 40, we have 6 people that shared their name. 40 to 50, we have 8. And then 50 to 60, we have 15 people who shared their name. And 60 plus, we had 13 people share their name. So that's an interesting cross-section of our community and people who were willing to share who they were to us, which is great. We are going to invite like 3-4 responses from groups. I will walk around as we do this. So this is not, as Jonathan said at the start, I should stand in the camera at least. This is not an opportunity for us to plan the next year's, months' time. This is an opportunity for us to share back and reflect back and start to think a little bit more about the information that some of us have sat with for a while and now is being presented to you immediately. So this is not necessarily the time to say, well, what's it going to look like in September and October, and what's the days going to be like this? Because if you ask those questions, we don't have a clue. So just to put a quick note on that, as we go around, feel free, just like raise your hand and I'll run over to you. If there is something burning in your brain to share with us about the information, I can come to you and you can share and we can reflect a bit of that back. Ooh. I don't think I'm going to pick on somebody. That seems mean. Look at that. Vic volunteered Kerwin. There we go.
So I think we just had a couple of, one is to really dig into the number 10 question. You know, a little bit more, what does the level of involvement look like? You know, is it participation on Sunday morning? Is it cell group participation? Is it online? Like how are people connecting with seeds? What sort of regularity, frequency, so we can have a better sort of picture of that to help tailor the future. And I think the other question really was also the demographics, which we got a little bit of taste of, and maybe if we had a follow-up thing, it would be just give your age, not your name, but where are you? Because I think we don't want all the opinions coming from people in the back half of their time with seeds versus the front half of their time with seeds. Well, Ken is in the bottom of the ninth, but
Thanks, Kerwin. No, that's a good reflection, and Ken feels rightly offended, I guess. No, I think that's good information and something that we are thinking about as well as we think about that last question in terms of, Andy's ready, in terms of what participation looks like going forward. So that'll be a big question for us to answer. Yeah, thanks, Kerwin.
Okay, so we had two questions. The first one probably could be answered fairly quickly. Can we keep moving forward despite fewer numbers of attendees? So basically a financial question. Second question, referring to question number 10, the graph shows fewer people willing to help out. Is that an important factor going ahead in all areas of church leadership and other volunteer positions? So, do we have enough energy?
Another very excellent and pointed question. Yeah, that's something we talked about a lot as we've gathered all this information. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. That's where we kind of need to dig into some of those pieces of what number 10 means to us, or what it means to everybody. And then as we've reflected, a bit of clarity around who and what and where and when and all that. Yeah, so excellent, Andy. Anybody else dying to share something?
I'm forced to by my group to share these ideas.
Would you like the microphone?
Oh, whatever. Doris says yes. Okay. So not just on question 10, but on all the questions, I'm fascinated by the ones and the twos. What are those people seeing and feeling? Please call me. I want to have coffee with you. I'm just wanting to know what the transition team's plan is for eliciting more from the ones and twos, because they seem hardcore. They are throughout persistent, and we need to hear from them. I would like personally to hear more. Secondly, this was a first salvo. I get that. There's going to be more, but incredibly illiteracy-based endeavor that may have turned off another 73 people. Again, what's the plan to get away from the paper, the writing, the methods like that? And we had a request in our group for more of the face-to-face, the talking. Not from me, that is not what I desire. The group wants to do that kind of thing. Who's not at the table? What's our core group at Seeds? Who thinks they're core? And when do you feel confident enough to believe you're enough of an adherent to participate in something like this? Question. Are there 73 people who don't feel belonging enough to respond to survey or to show up on a Sunday? And also, Sandra really hates church being taken over by a business meeting. Just throw that out there.
We're in worship for one, Sandra.
Yeah,
I think your question, Sandra, also raised something that's come up, I think, through our conversations as well, in that, there may be things about Seeds that we need to tweak, and I think constantly work at tweaking over time. I think we need to sort out, right now we're in a transition time, and we'll be looking for new leadership and whatever, and maybe that's a process. And then beyond that, it's there may be so many other questions that we also need to tackle that could take more time, or that we need to sort out, and that, so it's not like this process will be to reinvent the wheel in a way. And I don't think you're saying that, but as we move through this, I think we just need to kind of be clear on what our objective is for this time, and then be open to more as we go.
And thank you for sending this information on the email. Some of us find that helpful to have it the day before.
Yeah, whenever you engage in a human enterprise, gosh, you mean to engage the disenfranchised, Sandra, perfect, like beautiful question, and that's actually at the heart of Seeds. Like Seeds has been so intentional about being inclusive, and if the instrument to some degree would have excluded people, and that's a good point, and that's I think honestly the good feedback for us. Like I think we can say we missed that nuance, but great feedback. And, we can just pledge to be better the next time around, but thanks for that great feedback. Okay, so not everybody got a chance to share. At the very least, we certainly want the paper feedback. Can you just make sure that gets into our hands? And then we'll collate all those questions that have arisen and find a way to try and respond to them in a good way. Next slide. We good? Is it up there? Yeah. There we go. Okay, I'm going to just stand to the side on this one a little bit because I don't have it in front of me on paper. This is just a rough trajectory, transition timeline, just so that you have a sense of the movement forward. You can just see we've done some stuff already. The April 14th to the June 30th piece, that's a really big chunk of time. You need to know that we've already engaged Karen Schellenberg from Mennonite Church Manitoba as a mentor in this process. Currently, she's working with six different communities? Three?
At least three.
Yeah, three different MCM communities that are doing the same thing that Seeds is. So she brings a lot of wisdom and expertise to the conversation. She met with us once. That's the lead team and the transition team once. And so we're going to continue to work with her in planning out next steps. So you can see that's a big chunk of time. And we're going to now we're going to take these questions back and begin to map out some of the possibilities. You need to know, right off the hop, one of the things that Karen really spoke, I don't know, passionately about, but with a sense of clarity that the importance of contemplating that first phase of post-Ted and Dar leadership to being an interim leadership phase. Like if we move right from Ted and Dar to the new people, they're going to go like, this is junk. like they're going to be in a tough spot. So just let you know, that's something that we've been advised to contemplate. I'm just putting that out there. Then July and August, it's summer. People are going to want to just live their lives and enjoy summer, and that's what we're going to do. So we're not going to talk a lot about transition during the summer months. September and October, back to the working table, back to the drawing board, some more work around, and then we're going to be really intentional about trying to plan out what are some of the possibilities, the options that we can consider. And then November, December, again, just as the clarity comes, we can lead with greater clarity. So it's pretty open-ended, but I think it's that way because it has to be. We just don't know. So that's the timeline. That's our journey forward. And then the next slide. So I think our words of encouragement to you is we just have to embrace the journey. I reflected on the fact that in 2002, we left northern British Columbia not having a clue that Seeds existed. And we've become part of the journey, Leanna and I. So initially, we had to embrace a journey of our own, and it's led us to this place. It's kind of a beautiful place, actually. So we're inviting you to do the same. We're going to embrace the journey forward. Are we going to miss Ted and Dar? Of course we will. We can't not miss them. But let's just name it. Let's just be honest about it, and then commit to the future in even as unknown as it is right now. And I would just say that these three summary comments or observations, these are mine, and others would have much more eloquent and more powerful ways of articulating this, but I would say that Seeds is well positioned to embrace the future because we're a community of faith. And I mean, ultimately, we entrust ourselves to the God of creation. This is not merely a human enterprise. This is a providential or spiritually faith-driven enterprise. And so we believe that matters deeply. Positions as well. We are a community that has clear vision and values. Dar shared that at the beginning. We're open, connected, and responsive. We have a tradition of challenging the status quo. I can only think, I'll give you a couple of illustrations. Like I was part of the Seeds when we used to have our retreats at Cedarwood, right? Beautiful, beautiful period in the life of Seeds. But at some point, it just didn't happen anymore. And that's okay, because we are a community that recognizes you don't hang on to something just because we've done it that way forever. We let it go, and we move forward. And then, of course, in the survey, for the 73 and that did complete the survey, it indicates to us that we have a strong base of committed people. Question number 10 invites us to dig into that a little bit more. What does that commitment look like? Because honestly, commitment has to be part of the path forward. People have to be prepared to invest their time beyond their personal lives. Like you got to invest some of your personal space into the life and journey of Seeds Forward. So that's why I believe, and the transition team believes, that we're well positioned to embrace the journey. Thank you very much, everybody.
We want to bring this service, Sandra, to a close. And we want to do that by coming around the table. So I think we're going to release our stream folk at this time when you get to it, Chris. And yeah, I like that term for the journey, right? We're on a journey. Seeds is on a new phase of the journey. Darlene and I, we apparently are in a bit of a new phase too, and facing some of the same transition questions and questions about what it's going to look like next few months and next year and all that kind of stuff. And what do we take with us on a journey that's important? What do we take with us on a journey where there's lots of unknowns, but there's also some known knowns, like what matters to us and what centers us? And so one of the things that centered Seeds for a long time now, I can't remember exactly what year we made the decision as a community to do communion every week if we could. It's about 10 years now, I think. It's literally a meal to nourish us for the journey. And so we're going to come around the table and we're going to remember, if there's much that we don't know, there's a few things we do know, and that is the love of God through Jesus meets us when we take the bread and we take the cup. And that's going to be enough for us on this journey. We're going to need a lot of other things, but this is enough to sustain us. So I want to invite us to come. Kerwin and Mel and Jossie are going to come help serve. And thanks people online who've been joining us and will join us later in the week as you watch it. But come to the table. I think maybe the people upstairs can come down too.